please let me know. I'm going to go ahead and make sure there isn't anyone else who needs to be let in from the waiting room. It looks like we have just a few people that need to come in. So I'm going to go ahead and let them in real quickly. And then go ahead and mute everyone. All right, and then I'm going to pass it on to Zavit. All right.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you here again. My name is Yvette, and I'm Kaleidoscope Plan Learn Program Coordinator here in Seattle, CCR.
Hi, this is Kimberly. I'm a Family Engagement Specialist with the Kaleidoscope Plan Learn program.
Hi, Nicole Flores here. I'm also a Family Engagement Specialist.
Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Zainab, and I'm the Admin and Data Specialist at CCR.
A quick reminder, why are we here today? To provide resources. We're trying to show you the most updated resources and mainly resources that are also translated to different languages to support and connect within the facilitators community, share info and updates, continue to build community, and allow some space for discussion and reflection. The agenda for today. We'll go through the objectives, and I'll show you a few updates on COVID-19 here in Washington State. We'll talk a little bit about the evaluation process in KPL and reporting. We'll have some more activity ideas and new resources. We'll end up with open share. The objectives for facilitators, affiliates, families, and communities to receive support that they need. Keep up to date and stay informed. Learn from the evolving COVID-19 situation. It's hard to believe that it's been our new reality for many weeks now. But we definitely could still learn from each other and focus on our community strengths. So I want to thank you. I just want to give you a reminder about a few resources. One of them is the community testing site in Seattle that is working, if I'm not mistaken, it's still working only twice a week, but it's available for people without medical provider. And we are sending, when we're sending the resources, we're also sending the flyers, and there are flyers in other languages as well, not just English. Childcare Aware of Washington Family Center. This is operated by Childcare Resources, and this is the call center when you can call when you have questions regarding subsidy around childcare, or providers that are open, or if your family, if you know a family that one of the parents are is essential worker, and in King County and Seattle, they are they can get childcare for free right now. If you have any questions around it, please call the number that is shown here. And again, the Somali Health Board webinar on Ramadan during the pandemic. Ramadan is still on, and this is a really good resource for the Somali community. I wanted to show this Washington phase approach that Governor Jay Inslee announced about, I think it was last week. So this is a 4 phases approach. And I tried really, really hard to get this table in other languages, but I couldn't. And we might consider even translating it, because I think it's super important. So right now in Washington State, we are officially in phase 1, and you can get into the detail and see exactly what phase 1 means. There are a few counties, especially in Eastern Washington, that already moved to phase 2. So in the future, we will move from one phase to another according to the data that will be provided from the state regarding COVID-19. And as I was told that there will be at least 3 weeks between one phase to another. So we will not be able to move to from one phase to the other unless it's been 3 weeks, at least 3 weeks. So this is one resource that we will also share in the email that you will get afterwards. And there's another one. Nicole, could you please? Thank you. So this is another resource that was just published by King County regarding a health directive that is new in Washington State and will be under effect on May 18th. Yeah, May 18th. And everybody is required to wear masks in public spaces, of course, to slow the spread of COVID-19. And this resource is available in other languages, as you can see here, and these are links to the other flyers. So you'll get it with the PowerPoint, and you can just click on it and get access to the flyer in other languages. I just want to remind everybody that they're talking about fabric face covering that is, it must be over your nose and mouth. And regarding kids, especially under the age of 2, they are not required. And actually, they said that they should not wear any fabric face mask. But from age 2 to 12, they are required with adult supervision to make sure that it is worn safely. Do we have any questions regarding this information?
Yes, we had a comment saying if they can get the link separately from the PowerPoint as well.
Okay, yeah, sure. A few reminders about the change that we are now working on the caregiver surveys. This is the time of the year when you start giving the caregivers in your group the yearly survey. And of course, this year we cannot give it or operate it as usual. So we are now trying to shape a new evaluation process for caregivers. And as I mentioned last week, we are thinking about affiliates that will collaborate with us and facilitators that could interview some families or even have a few focus groups with a few families, ask them a few questions. It will be less families involved in this process this year, for sure, and it will probably include incentives for the families, just to thank them for the effort of participating in this. So again, if you have any questions or any feedback about this process, please let us know, and we will notify, of course, everybody when we'll start this process, and we'll give some more details. Zainab?
Yeah. Hi everyone, this is Zainab. You should have all received the link for the attendance survey last week. I sent it out on Thursday. Thank you for those who have already submitted theirs in. If you have not received it, please let me know and I can send that out to you. It is also linked on this PowerPoint. So when you do get the follow-up email after the webinar, you can click on this link and it will take you to the survey. And if you have not completed it yet, please do so by the date that I've put on here for April's attendance. So if you can get it to us by May 22. And on the next slide, you'll just see an example of how the survey looks like. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me and I'll be happy to answer those for you.
Thank you, Zainab. We're gonna move into just a few activity ideas. We just wanted to start with a few songs. These are a few songs that I personally love, but also keeping in mind that this is all just some extra tools for you all to have when leading your group or passing on information to caregivers. But as always, we love hearing the kind of music that participants like to listen to, maybe special songs. And so we'll just go over a few songs and a few activities. The first one I wanted to mention is We Are the Dinosaurs by the Laurie Berkner Band. I'm not sure if anyone here is familiar with this song, but it's one of my favorites. There's some fun movement that goes along with it, some marching, some sleeping and roaring, which is really fun. So it's really a song that just gets kids up and moving and can really do whatever they want when they listen to it, but it's kind of fun that they can pretend they're dinosaurs. The next one I wanted to mention is called Sleeping Bunnies. I have to admit, when I heard this song a few times by a child's request, I wasn't a huge fan of the beat, so I ended up creating my own tune and my own song from this one, but I also wanted to include it because it's really fun. It's about bunnies laying down, and then when you tell the bunnies to wake up, everyone just jumps up and starts hopping around, and it was just a favorite, not only in my group, but also in my classroom as a teacher. The next few are really Greg and Steve and Rafi, which have been around for many, many years. When I was in kindergarten, I listened a lot to Rafi, especially the song Down by the Bay, which is also another one of my favorites because it's so silly and there's so many rhymes happening in the song, and it really gets kids thinking of how to rhyme other words, and it's kind of fun to hear the words that they come up with. And it's just a funny song that has, you know, children and families giggling. So I just really wanted to make sure to include that one. Going on a Bear Hunt is kind of a classic in classrooms, but also used it in my group. just going on a bear hunt, and it's another action song that gets children and caregivers up and moving. And so I wanted to include that. And then the last song by Raffi, Willoughby Wallaby Woo, is just a super funny song. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all just have to listen to it. So all the links are there for you all to check out, and yeah, and to share as well. And if y'all have any questions, please feel free to let me know. We'll move on to the next slide. And I just wanted to know if you all have a favorite song that you like to sing to young children, or play in your group, or maybe participants have had a favorite song that they've shared with you that's really stuck out. So if you all have a favorite song, I would love to hear it. Or just if you just want to tell me what it is, you don't have to sing it unless you want to. Anyone?
Hi, I have a song I could share.
Yeah.
So we actually had our KPL group about an hour and a half ago. And a song that we found, and there's a little video that goes with it, is called How Many Fingers? And it's just this really cute cartoon, and involves a lot of counting fingers and toes, and it was really fun and interactive and like completely doable over an online platform, and the kids absolutely loved it. There was a lot of giggling and stuff, so highly recommend. It's a fun counting, it's really colorful, something fun to even send the parents if you have their contact information.
Thank you. Can you add that into the chat box, please? Like what it's called and maybe who it's by, so we can check it out?
Yeah, totally. I could even send the link for the video that we have.
Yeah, thank you. That'd be great. Zainab, do we have anything happening in the chat box?
Yeah, some of them commented, come under my umbrella with hand movements or parachute.
I like that song.
What is decolor? I guess it's in Spanish. Yes, that was her favorite song as a kid. I Know a Chicken by Lori Berkney Van is also wonderful to do with kids.
I just want to say that is a great song. That song is so funny. I love it. I forgot about that song actually.
Freeze dance, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and some of them use scarves as well.
Awesome. These are all really great suggestions. I see that Connie just raised her hand. Connie, go ahead.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, you can hear me now. Yay. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
So I was having special Mother's Day KPL last week, and then I'm teaching them how to sing a song to their mothers in Chinese. So I can say it right now. Okay, it's like 我愛我的媽媽，媽媽真偉大，媽媽教我努力做個好乖乖，媽媽媽媽，我要做個好乖乖。So this is a song that's talking about we love our mom like teaches us a lot of things, and I encourage the children, they can switch to mommy one to their daddy or their uncle, so they can say or the baba or the sok, something like that, so they can learning more like names about like which relatives we should call them.
That is beautiful, Connie. Thank you for sharing that. Oh. Anyone else? Zainab, anything else going on in the chat room?
No, Emily just shared her video, so I just shared it again because she just put it to all panelists, but I did to all attendees. Yeah, so I reposted it for her.
Awesome, thank you. And if y'all can think of any other songs that you want to share, please feel free to just pop them in the chat box so we can just have a really great running list. And then I could send out that list when we do the follow-up email.
And someone just said Jay Brewery has a ton of songs and finger plays to do. It's a YouTube channel.
What is it? Can you say that again, Zainab? I didn't hear.
Jay Berry, I think it's pronounced, but I'm not sure. It's in the chat box.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you for singing, Connie. That was great. Okay, we'll move on to the next slide. So some of these activities that we were thinking of, we wanted to do some simple ones and just some things that are really good for fingers are peeling the paper off of crayons. Children would enjoy this activity. Most would enjoy this activity. And so small crayons are really great because they really take some really, you know, some time to kind of get the paper off, and they're a little bit more difficult, but super fun and just really great for fine motor skills. Also just ripping paper, offering children scratch paper, newspapers, things that are probably going to go into the garbage or recycling bin. Children can use to kind of rip into pieces. And again, really great for their fingers, their fine motor skills. And I'm just remembering to connect that to, you know, strengthening their muscles so that they can write and be able to hold writing tools. So really, really good, simple activity for something like that. All right, we're gonna go to the next one. Fun and creative ways to use masking tape. Peeling tape off the floors, creating roads, creating shapes on a mirror or on the carpet or on the floor, creating fun games, maybe just putting like a line or some squares to jump on, many ideas. Offering some tape with crayons and paper. Sometimes children want to draw a picture or write something and then you know, fold it up and then tie some tape around it. They also might enjoy hanging their art creation. So if they do color on a piece of paper, they might enjoy using tape to find a spot in the house where they want to hang their pictures up. So again, just some simple, easy ideas. Can anyone else think of any other ideas of what masking tape can be used for with children? If y'all can think of any ideas, please feel free to add it in the chat box. Zainab not Zainab, Zavit or Kim, can you think of anything? And Zainab, can y'all think of any other ways to use masking tape that maybe I didn't mention?
Well, we have some comments saying they can use it for hopscotch indoors and making letters and numbers out of the tape.
Yeah.
Taping small toys to the wall at eye level and having the kids or babies pull them off could be a fun way to ID animals.
I like that.
Another comment saying my daughter uses painter's tape off literally anything, band-aids, measuring tape. Kids love taping boxes in my group. Before COVID, they like to fix red boxes or seal them up.
These are great ideas.
And using it for chalk drawing outlines or wrapping gifts.
Mm-hmm. These are all really fun things. Thank you for sharing. Next activity are some tea party ideas. Just playing fun music, inviting some friends like teddy bear, baby dolls, cars, working together, setting up a space, trying different teas or pretending to. There doesn't really need to be tea in your cup. Adding a fun tablecloth, a sheet or tapestry on the table or floor, and really just following the child's lead. They will have many ideas that maybe we don't think of, and they know what they want to play sometimes. So just kind of following their lead. And tea parties are really fun, or just saying we're going to have a party. I feel like anytime you just say party, most children will just get excited. And so those are just a few ideas of things that can be done. The next one is just nature play, bringing things from outside into your home. Babies can play with these items, young children, just making sure the items you have indoors are safe, but children love smelling and touching, and just kind of exploring these items. Sticks, pine cones, flowers, any of those things are just super fun and pretty easy to find outside. If you do have families that are still venturing in their yard or going on walks, is really fun. Before I move on, does anyone have any questions or comments?
There was another comment about the masking tape where she said she made pictures with masking tape over paper and painted over it, then took off the tape.
Yeah, thank you. That's so fun. All right, we'll move on to the next one, and I'm going to hand it over to Kimberly.
Hi. We just wanted to share with you today some videos that some of our colleagues at Child Care Resources have made for folks during this time as they're at home. And there are a variety of different videos in English as well as other languages like Arabic, Russian, Spanish, and so on. And they're all available on our Child Care Resources YouTube channel, which is all linked here on the slide. And we just want to show you like a very just tidbit of the video so you can get an example of what types of activities the videos are discussing. So Nicole, can you go ahead and play it?
Everybody, this is Colleen from Child Care Resources. Thanks for joining us for this week's video tidbit. This week, we're going to be focusing on spring art while social distancing. We have 4 spring art activities that are really easy to do while still practicing social distancing with a little bit of prep beforehand. So we'll talk about spring fingerprint flowers, some collage, some mixed media collage art, which is extra fun. Natural paint brushes, which is really nice to do because children can get outside and collect those paint brushes ahead of time.
So the videos have different topics they focus on. So the one here is about art activities during social distancing, but they also have other topics like outdoor play and so on. So if you're looking for more ideas and are interested in getting those through more of like a video format, please look into them.
And then
So today I wanted to show it's not a game, it's an activity with different developmental ages, and I want to focus on drawing and how it looks like with little ones and older kids. So I like this this chart because it doesn't go into too many details and it's easy to remember. But this is in fact what is required in the different ages regarding their drawing skills. And I am really encouraging even younger than 1 year kids to grab a crayon, and especially if they have older siblings or other kids that they look at when they're scribbling or drawing. And if it's available, I really recommend like big crayons and not the not the ones that you use at school, but there are so many others that are available right now, or even break a long crayon and just give a little piece to younger kids. So at 1 year, we want to see kids scribble, just know what to do with a piece of paper and a crayon, and it kind of looks like the hair of this figure here. At 2 years, we want to see kids drawing line, and at the beginning maybe they'll do it spontaneously, but some kids are really good at following, and when you show them how to draw a line, they will follow you and copy you. 3 years, we want to see kids drawing a circle, and maybe it's appropriate to ask them to start drawing a face, or showing them how to draw a face, and they can copy. Towards the 4 year, they will copy a cross, like the body of this figure here. And you can draw planes, or use it to draw other things, but the thinking around it is that they would be able to draw one horizontal line and one vertical line that is in the middle of the horizontal line. Also, after they're drawing a cross, they will start drawing a square between 4 and 5 years that has 4 points. And towards 5 year, we can see the kids, they are able to draw a triangle. And I wanted to mention a little bit grasp development. When we're talking about 1-year-old, it will be a cylindrical grasp, as you can see here. 2 to 3 years, it's called a digital grasp. Afterwards, towards 4 years, it's gonna be they're turning the crayon, and it's something, it's called modified tripod grasp. They're holding it with all 5 fingers or 4 of them, and around 5 years you'll see the tripod grasp with only 3 fingers. And this is the more traditional approach to look at the grasps, the development of grasp. And nowadays we are talking more about the function, how function is this grasp, and if kids are functioning well and they produce good quality of drawing and writing. So it doesn't really matter which grasp is it. It needs to be functional. That's what we look at most. We're looking at dominant hand preference around 4 to 6 years. Before that, we want to see kids using both their hands. And actually, if we're seeing dominant hand at age 1 or 2 or even 3, this is something that need to be checked, because developmentally it shouldn't, we shouldn't see it before 4 to 6 years. Just a minute, Nicole, before you move. I wanted to mention that in some kids, but very little, around, I think it's even less than 5%, we will see kids using both hands, and this is okay. It's called ambidextrous. And I think that the easiest way for me to check dominant hand, if we're not sure, it's checking in the legs, because usually the legs and the hand will have the same dominancy. And when you throw a kickball to a child, he will kick with the dominant leg. So that's a nice exercise that you can do if parents are not sure what's the dominant hand, or you're not sure. So just kick a ball to a child and see which leg is he using first without thinking. The next slide. So I wanted to mention some activities for in-hand manipulation, and actually Nicole mentioned a few activities for fine motor activities. So play and draw in the sand or foam. These are really, really good activities for in-hand manipulation. You can use the fingers, you can use the stick, but just go outside, pick up a stick and draw in the sand, or put foam on the even the shower walls, and using your finger. This is great. Pick up small objects when the baby or the kid is eating, or even other objects like beads or small objects. Open and close leads. This is a really good exercise. Put coins in a piggy bank. Threading and buttoning and zipping when they put their clothes on. That's a really good activity. I always encourage kids not to just use paper and pencils. They will have, especially kids that are not in school age, they will have a lot of it afterwards at school. But with the youngers, I would use chalks, again, sand or foam or brushes, or other ways where they could still express themselves with drawing or art, but not just a pencil and a paper. And another thing that is also related to in-hand manipulation and the writing skill afterwards at school is the upper limb strength. And I wanted to mention the few activities that you can do in your groups or recommend to parents when maybe caregivers that are saying that the kids doesn't want to draw or doesn't want to hold the crayons. So sometimes it is because the upper lip is not strong enough, and it's all for everybody. It's good for everybody to exercise. So wheelbarrow walking, I put a picture here for people who are not sure what it is. Climb ladders, monkey bars. Something that I really like to do is laying on the tummy while drawing or while playing with puzzles or Legos or whatever it is. When kids are laying on their tummy, they are working on their upper limb strength as well, shoulders and neck, really important. And another thing that is something that parents could do or caregivers could do is hanging a paper on the wall in shoulders level, and or use chalkboard or whiteboard, and and you can see it here in the picture when drawing in shoulder level, it it is really helping to build the muscle tone in the shoulders and in the hands. Any questions?
Thank you, Savit. We're gonna move on and just talk about the recommendation for a book this week. And the book that we chose is Everyone Poops. I'm not sure if anyone here is familiar with this story, but it's quite great. It just shows different animals that, you know, that everyone poops, animals poop. It talks a lot about that and just really normalizes that, you know, everyone poops, and just the story is just really great. I think children just love it, and most children do. And sometimes it's fun to have, like, you know, like you could draw pictures, or have, if you have like toy animals, they're fun to kind of bring over while you're reading the story. So yeah, that's the book recommendation. And then I will send it over to Kim.
This is the same slide as we typically show you every week, just with a reminder and links to our Child Care Resources website that has different resources available related to COVID-19. And then also on our website, there's a specific page for a Kaleidoscope Play and Learn resources for children, caregivers, and families that are more focused for KPL and the birth to 5 ages. And Nicole continues to update that every week. So just something to keep in mind again as we move on. And on the next page is just the link to the YouTube channel where we post all of the recordings of these webinars, as well as the registration link to next week's webinar. And next week's webinar will be focused on spending time together virtually, some positive discussion and building community, and we plan to make it a fun time. So please join us and bring a snack or beverage to enjoy while we're hanging out together. Nicole, is there something you wanted to add about that? I don't know if I covered enough.
No, just that I'm excited, and we're hoping that we can see all of you if you're comfortable with that, and you all will be able to see us. So we'll have our cameras on, hopefully. And for those of you that are comfortable, and bring some tea or coffee or beverage of choice, and yeah, we can just hang out and chat. I think it's going to be fun, so I'm excited. Thanks, Kim.
So like usual, we wanted to give some open space for all of you to have a chance to talk with one another or with us and ask questions and just kind of reflect on your work right now. This is your time to bring up questions or concerns. And then if there's something maybe on your mind, or you need an idea what to talk about, you can think about maybe what supports families need right now, or what you're hearing for your participants. Does anyone have anything on the top of their mind right now that they'd like to share with the group? Something that I'm curious about is in the past recent weeks, we had some webinars on virtual technical platforms. And I know some of you were just starting some of your virtual groups, or you had started them in some way, but maybe we're switching gears and trying a new platform after the webinar we did on different options available. Does anyone want to share anything about that? Or maybe they're having some troubles they'd like to troubleshoot here?
I'm also wondering if you all found that helpful, if it helped you in your next virtual group or connecting with caregivers and families.
Hi, this is Carolina.
Carolina.
Just, how are you guys? Just wanted to just quickly share regarding your question about like how things are going or things that I've heard or anything because as you know, as a statewide organization, I've heard just really positive things so far. I want to say that the webinar that we had that I actually missed last week's, but the one before we were talking about like how people are doing their virtual play groups, how long, all that. That really was of tremendous help to me and being able to offer support to the sites who are doing virtual play groups, just giving them ideas, giving them platforms. So I just want to say that for me, it was not just a positive kind of bit of information, but just really helpful in being able to support them. But so far, the sites that have been doing virtual play groups have reported just really having a lot of interest in them, a lot of families participating. They've had success in outreach. I don't have all the information like data in front of me, but I just want to say that I know just in conversations that a lot of people have really really taken a lead in creating these virtual play groups, and I'm just really happy that they're, you know, reflecting success, and that just speaks of, you know, the need that's out there still, and folks really needing, families, caregivers, you know, everybody really needing an opportunity to engage with others. So I also, like you guys, would love to hear whatever else other folks are doing or what their successes are or even challenges, because, you know, those things come up as well. But I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Carolina. We appreciate that feedback. And I'm glad it's been really useful, the content we've been covering in the webinars.
Someone asked if anyone has any suggestions for engaging toddlers in virtual groups.
That's a great question. And I reflect that question back to all of you. Are there any facilitators that can respond to that with some ideas? Myra, if you haven't seen our webinar about like technology and screen time for birth to 5, I would recommend taking a peek at that if you haven't. It's kind of a balance because they're so young and there's only like a certain amount of screen time that's really healthy for that age range. But I would really encourage you also to think about like engagement that's not just visual, but also audio, because virtual groups are a great way to share music. And then for a toddler age group, that's a great way to captivate them during your virtual KPL.
I think it's also okay if caregivers come and you make it short, or you just let everyone know at the beginning that, you know, there's many different ages. 0 to 5 is a huge range. So just letting caregivers know that that they don't have to stay the whole time if they're, you know, if their child can only stay engaged for a very short while, because they are young. And I agree with what Kim said, really thinking about engagement like visually and with some music, and maybe it's just kind of short, because that's what their brain can handle right now.
And then I would also add that, while we, just like in a normal in-person KPL, while we want to keep the children engaged and offer options, it's also a place for caregivers to go to come together as a community and find support. And so definitely consider that as you make time in your virtual groups, in addition to finding ways to engage them in early learning activities virtually.
Brooke mentioned that she's been focusing a lot on parent engagement. If the parents are having fun, the kids usually follow along.
Yeah. That sounds good.
We have a comment saying chalk is hard to find in stores right now, and she gave away plaster Kool-Aid for families to do at home, which is pretty cool for participants to make.
Ooh, I didn't know that chalk was hard to find right now.
Yeah, I didn't know. I guess that makes sense because a lot of kids are playing outside more, maybe.
Yeah, that does make
Yeah.
sense. That's awesome that she did that.
Any other comments, questions?
We had another comment saying the webinar last time helped her a lot, and she's going to start doing virtual playgroup.
Oh, good. Good.
One thing that I would add that in terms of the toddlers, and I don't know if this would be helpful, but I'm just going to throw it out there is I know some of the sites that I'm working with, they've done times for specific age groups, just so that the parents don't feel kind of what you said, Nicole, don't feel like they have to stay the whole time. They've made sure that they've kind of personalized it for each age group, so they know the ones that can stay a little bit longer, they'll host it a little bit longer, or they'll have shorter ones for the younger children. And it seems like that's been working for them. So I don't know if that would be of any help for the person who asked about the toddler, if it was just for them so that they know it's just a shorter one and a lot of music and movement. Which I think is maybe something you mentioned too, Kim.
Thank you, Carolina.
Yeah, we had a comment saying playing bubbles with little ones that are 1 to 3 years old has been super fun. She likes to blow them and pretend to catch them, and then they blow them to her. Both parents and children stay engaged for a while.
I love that. Thank you. These are very, very awesome ideas. If no one has any other further comments, I think the next thing we're going to do is take a short poll. So Nicole's going to go ahead and send out a poll right now that you should see on your screen. You want to talk about it, Nicole, or you want me to talk about it?
Yeah. So the questions are, do you plan on continuing your group throughout the summer? And there are 3, yes, no, not sure. And the second one is, starting mid-June, how would you like us to continue our webinars? Weekly, bi-monthly, monthly? And so if you could all just vote once on the bottom one and also vote on the top one, that would be great. And we'll go ahead and just wait until everyone has had an opportunity to vote before we move on.
Thank you everyone for responding. This will help us structure the next number of months in terms of like what kind of work we need to do to support all of you. Mm-hmm. This is really helpful getting this feedback. Can people see the results live?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
We had a question, somebody saying actual groups or virtual groups for the first question. We're referring to either, right, Kim?
Yes. Either one. Either one.
Okay. So looks like we have about 30% of folks who have voted, so we'll wait until the rest of you have had opportunity. And please let us know if you have any other questions on this. We'll give it a couple minutes. right, it looks like everyone has voted, so I'm going to take a picture of this. And then we'll move on to the next. Okay. So I think I'm just gonna leave it up. I think I can leave it up and then move on to the next slide. If it ends, I apologize. It does look like everyone has had an opportunity to enter an answer, and then we'll move on to the next slide.
So we have some reflection questions for you all. We thought it'd be nice to kind of pause because I know there's a lot going on in everyone's personal lives and within KPL. Some of the questions we have for all of you to take a moment to think about include what is something positive and unexpected that has come out of KPL during this time for you and or your participants? What is something that you have learned from this experience that you will carry forward with you when KPL returns to in-person sessions? And what is a highlight or a story you'd like to share about your group that occurred recently? And so if you feel like just kind of thinking about this on your own internally, that's great. And if you want to share an answer to any of these responses, I encourage all of you to do so, either in the chat box or you can unmute yourself. I can start because I definitely think that something that has come from this experience with KPL moving virtually and everyone being remote is that we've been doing these weekly webinars regularly now. And I definitely feel the team has been able to make a deeper connection to affiliates across the state as well as the country at a more regular basis and really deepen the KPL community more so than in the past when we were just doing the webinars quarterly, which is only once every 3 months. So I definitely think that the unity of the KPL network has strengthened a lot during this time.
I second that. It's been awesome.
We had a comment saying the kids really remember each other and miss each other. That's been so positive and unexpected for our group.
That's really sweet.
I have another comment saying, I've been sharing projects and supplies during this time. I want to remember that not all families may have the supplies at home and to make sure I am continuing to check in with them to make sure they can do our projects at home too.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. That's definitely an example of meeting families where they're at and using what we have at home to promote child development. So thank you for sharing that.
I had a comment from Helen saying coming together as a team and sharing each other's hidden talents, reaching to families in different countries, deepening community partnerships.
Thank you, Helen.
Emily said, I wasn't expecting over half our group to move online. Everyone is so joyful every time, and we've even been able to invite 2 new families.
Yay. Anyone else would like to share? Well, on the next slide, every week, Nicole and I have been trying to put in a question or something at the end that you can respond to in the chat box, kind of like as a way to like wrap up the webinar on a positive, like fun note. And for this week, we thought it'd be nice if people wanted to share what they're thankful for or what they're grateful for right now during this time, and type that into the chat box as we wrap up, and everyone can read people's responses. So go ahead and think about what you're grateful for and enter that in the chat box, and we will wrap up the webinar if people don't have any more questions.
Have common same family and friends, show their love even more often, even if they have difficulties to see each other in person. Continued connection with families and their children. The beauty of the Northwest that I sometimes take for granted. I'm grateful for life and good health. Grateful for all of you and all the work that you do. A safe place to rest, my beautiful neighborhood. Seeing our community reaching out and meeting the needs of our families. So grateful for the incredible support of all of you in being safe and healthy. I'm thankful for arts and crafts. I was able to send watercolor paintings to all my families that I've had so much fun making them. Didn't even feel like work. So grateful for getting to share creativity.
All right, well, thank you, all of you. And Nicole, if you could move to the next slide. Oh, looks like we have a couple more comments coming in. Zainab, do you want to read those?
Yes, I'm grateful for all my family, my job, all the compassion for the participants to help one another, connecting the families and their child, and reaching out to support them and listening to their amazing stories. So thankful for that. I'm grateful because I'm healthy and all the support I receive from my coworkers and you.
Mm. Mm.
I'm grateful for a strong KPL community.
So am I. Well, thank you, all of you, for all the work that you have been doing. We appreciate it. And
Yes, thank you.
yes, thank you. And please remember to come and stop by next week, Tuesday at 1 p.m. for another webinar.
Yeah, come and have coffee, tea, or anything else and hang out with us.
Gonna be a tea party.
Yeah.
Exactly. Have a good week.
Thank you.
Thank you.